When an author decides that he or she wants to write a book and picks up a subject like, say, Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great, you know the volume of content you are dealing with, okay? But your books, you have committed yourself to writing a trilogy. It is speculative fiction as the genre.
Yeah.
How did you decide whether you'll have the volume for it to become a trilogy?
I think it sort of became its own thing after I started writing it. I'd intended to basically explore this idea of a dangerous future place, a fascist future place. And I wanted to say a lot more things as I started writing it. It started expanding into more and more stuff. And it became like a nice geographical split in my head that the first book would be based in a future India, the second one in a future America, and a third one in the future Caliphate. Okay. So that's how it's like a world tour of fascism.
So is The Unreasonable Man part 1 of the trilogy?
No, Unreasonable Man is a separate book altogether, not part of the trilogy.
Okay,
so
Dvarca is where the trilogy starts.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So the first book of the trilogy is Dvarca.
Okay. So tell us about Dvarca. What is it about and what inspired you to write Dvarca?
So yeah, Dvarca is a work of fiction. It's a satirical take on a family life in a future fascist India. And it basically takes things that I am afraid of and projects them into the future and imagines the worst case scenario. And that's basically how it was born. I wanted to sort of confront my fears, and the only way to do that was through fiction. And a lot of people have done it before. I mean, this is a pretty big genre, maybe not in India so much, although it's been around in India also for a long time. But things like 1984, Brave New World, all those books, they inspired me also to sort of bite the bullet and, go after what scares me and imagine the worst.
Okay. So what's the plot about?
So the plot it revolves around the life of a family. So I thought about it when I was writing it. It should feel like a documentary, that you are thrown into this world and you are at eye level with these people in this future fascist world, and you're living their lives and you're seeing what's happening around them. So not all of them are essentially happy with this, and they're sort of learning why they're not happy. So it's a journey of like self-realization and discovery for almost all the characters in the book, the main family. And of course, through them, you get to see what the government has done, how they've made some things illegal, how they've focused on only one religion. They've completely changed the meaning of a religion, and they've basically become a totalitarian state, and they want a say in everything.
Funny you say that. I have a feeling that you got the book right, but the country wrong. There is another country nowadays where all these things are happening.
Really? I haven't heard of it. Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. That's the kind of feedback I've been getting as well, that you've hit the nail on the head. It's kind of like what's happening in America today, and what people fear could happen in America. So it's pretty exciting and pretty scary at the same time.
Yes. So Jyoti, Gandharv and Nakul, are they the three main characters?
That's correct.
Tell us a bit about them,
so,
if it's not a spoiler.
No, so Jyoti and Gandharv are like the central couple. They're like the mother and father in this family. And Jyoti works at Dvarca Mills. She's the main protagonist who goes through the biggest change and sees the most things happen around her and to her in the book. And she starts out from like a position of being benefiting from the entire system of Dvarca and feeling like nothing bad can happen. And she realizes that the state itself is doing some stuff that is really frightening and really should be illegal. And through that, she starts to see that the rebels or the people who are fighting this kind of a superstructure are actually the good guys.
Okay.
And Gandharv, of course, is he's a bureaucrat. He works at the Ministry of Finance and Salvation. He loves numbers, and his journey is essentially coming to terms with, he wants to get promoted. His main goal in life is to get promoted, and he'll do anything for that. And he's like a cog in this machine, and he doesn't hate it.
Okay, just a thought. Does it strike you sometime that why don't you yourself make Dvarca and your trilogy into a movie?
I have considered that. I think that's a good way to go. I'm not sure. It would have to be rewritten a little bit for the screen, because it's kind of a different story. It's more in people's heads and how they're going and seeing things. But a film would perhaps need to be compressed a bit more in terms of the events and actions that are happening.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an exciting thought.
Clearly, the budgeting does not worry you at all.
Oh, well, no, not really. It's going to be expensive, definitely, to make something like this, because it's futuristic. There's some exciting science fiction type props that would be required, and of course some CGI perhaps. But that would be a fun thing to explore.
Is it usual for a writer to write all three of the trilogy, or do you do it one by one?
Depends. For me, it took a long time, and I wanted to sort of see where the story would go. So I started writing way ahead of where the first book would end. So I'm pretty much through with I have a 1300 page tome which has to be culled and edited down to make it, readable for people.
So what's going to take priority now, filmmaking or books?
I think for now, writing is probably going to take the priority. I want to sort of finish the Dvarca trilogy. I've written most of it, but I keep rewriting, so that's going to be a fun process to go back and fix things and make them better. So definitely focusing on the writing for now, but maybe I'll try and do a film sometime soon as well.
That sounds great, Madhav. All the best to you for Dvarca and for your number 2 and number 3 book. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.